Yeah, I'm doing this video. This might, now I'm not gonna say it might be one of the last videos I do, but it's just like, as of now, with the game industry, it just seems completely slow. Like, for real, for real. Cause there's just nothing to really talk about, cause there's no, like, games to be, like, that's coming out. That's gonna be, like, worth talking about until, like, E3. You know what I mean? Damn. Yeah, it's just gonna be like, nothing's gonna be like worth it. And then when you like start watching these channels, like, I'm not gonna say their names, but it's just a bunch of goofy motherfuckers just talking about like shit. Like, it's just like games that nobody probably ever heard of or played. It's just like what is this game you're talking about? And then they talk about it as if everybody played it. I'm like, it's just like, what is this? You know what I'm saying? Oh, look what happened. See? God damn. But it's just like, dude. Like I said, they be talking about games that you never heard of. Nobody's talking about nothing like on some real shit. You know what I mean? Like, I made this video about microtransactions. Like, that was some real shit. You know what I mean? Because it's just like certain things about like these microtransactions, it just gotta change. But to see, the industry is not gonna change them because they feel like, you know, they making money, so it's working for them. You know what I'm saying? But I'm like, nah, dude. Like, especially what I laid down. It just feels like I said with the microtransactions, like who, I'm not gonna say who cares, but it just feels like you gotta provide the player base with something that will be worth paying the money for. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think too many people even talking about that. Like, they talk about the microtransactions, but it's not like on some shit like, you know, they say if it's bad or not, and you got loot boxes, blah blah blah. But nobody ever was saying like, you know, I'm not really against microtransactions. I'm just against what these companies give people for microtransactions. Like, you can't sell me some bullshit for like $20 that don't mean nothing. Or it's like, because I noticed this big thing in games. It's like they will sell you like a gun or like some weapon or something when you get like the deluxe or ultimate edition, or you buy this particular weapon for $20. And especially if it's a game where you level up in, like, by the time you reach like level, like two levels in, I would say 2 to 5 levels in, it's basically useless. And I paid $20 for this. Like, it's just like, you don't hear too many people in, like, you know, that be making these like these game channels. They don't be talking about like shit like that. It's just like microtransactions. It's basically like, it's just too nuanced of a conversation, basically. And then even still, like, none of these dudes on these like gaming channels, they don't be saying like, I don't know, man. It's just like, to me, they just seem like, I'm not going to say all of them, but they just seem like goofy nutsacks, basically. And they're just trying to make everything so lighthearted and everything is like cool or whatever the case is. It's like there's no real authentic like people. Like they ain't saying like how they really feel about stuff, because it's just like they got some relationship with the company and all this other goofy shit. It's just a whole thing. You know what I mean? It's just like, it just feels like nothing is real about this shit. But did this, let me see something. Did this turn? Damn, bro. This is gonna be kind of, I mean, can I fix this? Oh, man. And it's just like I was about to say, like even when they be talking about these games, like nobody ever say like, yeah, did you play this game so and so? Like, nope. I'm like, why not? Cause it's trash. And they be like, oh wow, like why is it trash? You know what I'm saying? I mean, even though I see it as their job to play some of these games, but at the same time, it's just like, dude, I'm not wasting my time playing this bullshit. I mean, I could just already tell you what I don't like about it already without like, oh, but you never played the game. And like, motherfucker, y'all been talking about how great the game is and y'all didn't even play the shit yet. I'm like, so what the fuck are you talking about? Like, I mean, the opposite could be true too. Damn, man, I'm gonna have to cut this out. Ain't this a bitch? Man, that was gonna take more time fixing it than doing it this way. But then watch, if I connect this, watch something. No, watch something crazy happen. Did something crazy happen? It don't look like it anyway. But like I said, I don't know. It's just the industry. And plus, the industry is not going to say nothing like, you know, especially around this time. Like, nothing is really. Like, nothing is really out there, really. You know what I'm saying? To be, like, talking about or playing. I mean, it's like the video game industry is like basically slow right now till like E3 shows up. That's the next time it's going to like, you know, something's going to happen for that like everybody's going to be talking about. And when is E3? Like in June? Or whenever the case is. Oh, this is bunched up too far. I mean, too close. Oh, then I gotta adjust. I gotta adjust all these, like this whole thing. But yeah, like I said, it's just trash. But anyway, yeah, I like I said a while back, which is crazy because I just got hooked up with a comic book artist, and so because I was like, because this is around 2019. Matter of fact, it was September 2019, and I was like, I'm looking for a comic book artist to do my comic book, and so I was like, I didn't think nothing of it. I just put it out there because I'm not too big on Twitter like that. So I was just like, whatever. But I was kind of corresponding with this one dude. But then he wasn't right for this separate project. Because he wasn't, he didn't have the skills to do my main project, but he was like cool enough to do my secondary project. And he was kind of like, it just didn't turn out how it was supposed to be. So anyway, so I basically just let it go. I didn't check Twitter. So I'm like, whatever. So for some reason I was looking through my like old tweets, just scrolling through, because I figured out I can do something on Twitter. And I was like, oh, I didn't know this feature was there, because like I said, I'm not on Twitter. So I saw this dude, and this was like I said, I did this in 2019. So I looked up the messages in March of this year. So I was like, what? Somebody actually answered the call? Because some little, I don't know who the fuck this is, but this little some asshole was like, if you're gonna ask somebody to like do a comic book for you, you should like do a direct message. Don't do it like for everybody to see. I mean, I didn't know there was like comic book hiring etiquette in this type of thing. Like, so I'm like, it's always some asshole somewhere on the internet trying to be smart. So I was just like, fuck it, whatever. But this dude said, yeah, I can do your comic book. So I'm like, oh, really? And so I messaged him thinking like he's not gonna respond back, because I saw the message. It was like September 2019. I'm like, he ain't gonna. I mean, there's like a whole like 2020 went by, the tail end of 2019 went by, the start of like January, February of 2021 started. Like he probably, I don't know where the dude was. So he gonna message me back soon as I said it. He was like, yeah, I could work on your book. And I'm like, what? And as good as he was looking, I was like, yo, word? And so I'm like, okay, fine. I'm mostly on Instagram. And so he was like, I'm on Instagram too. Because usually sometimes some people be like, I only got one account. You know what I mean? Like, it's rather some people that I run into, rather they got one or the other. So I'm like, okay, cool. So we start corresponding and we start like doing the prices and everything. So I'm like, yo, with this dude, what he can do, I'm like, this is the man right here. And so like, I'm glad I actually bumped into this dude. Cause I've been trying to find somebody to do my comic book for the longest time. Just off of the strength of, yeah, I'll be writing the comic book, like I'll be writing everything. You know what I mean? Like I'm working on this like whole mini series, and I've been working on this ever since. Like I would say like the start of the whole George Floyd murder last year. I mean, even though like some of the ideas I was thinking about prior to, but it was just like when that situation happened, I was like, you know what, I'm writing this. And I've been writing it ever since then. And I'm still writing it. Like, I'm mostly finished. Like, I gotta do one person's storyline but for the most part, it's more done. Like I would say 80% done writing it. I just gotta cause I'm writing it on my phone in the memo, but I'm kind of like writing it so when I put it into my writing program, I wouldn't have to do too much to format it. You know what I mean? And then I was writing the game at the same time, but then I had to put a pause on the game because of this mini series. So it's just like a whole thing. And then this I'm working on, like characters sometimes in the actual, even though this particular character is not in the mini series, but you know, she's in the game. So it's like a lot, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, dude, it come to find out this dude is working his ass off. He's talking about he got like 6 clients and everything. And see, that was the thing about like finding somebody. Every time I find somebody, it's always something stupid like, see, and that whole myth, it's not a myth, but it's just an excuse really. Like I'd be like this how it was before. And see, that's why dude, like my man Mark, his name is Mark. He's a real dude. Cause every time I find somebody, I'm like, oh, like, and I'm offering you money to work on this comic book. It's not like I'm asking you to do some free shit. But it'll be like even if I do get a response to somebody, they'll be like, oh, I'm working on somebody else's project, or I'm working on my own project. So it just got to the point where it was just like, you know what, fuck it. Because I had this problem before in the past. Like, I'm seriously sitting up there asking a dude. Like, because I was part of, like, this, like, independent comic book company. And I'm like, and, you know, it's like everybody kind of knew, you know, everybody was knowing each other. I was like the new guy in. And I'm sitting up here like, and I'm not even gonna get into all that again, but like the only thing I would say is I had a novel. I had my manuscript that I turned into a book. But I was drawing up like pinups of characters, and I made like 2 posters. And those 2 posters was like drawn better than most people's books. So, long story short on that, I'm asking this dude, I was like, if I have a comic book, would you color it? And he was like, oh, well, why don't you color it? Now, mind you, I'm sitting up there like, okay, I'm going to pay you. What's up with the attitude, bro? And then he was the known colorist. I didn't even know Photoshop at the time. And I'm not going to, like, the time it would take me to learn it, it would have just further delayed the book. So all you had to do was just lie, basically, like everybody else. But he was just acting like a little prissy bitch and shit. So it's like, you know what, fuck it. But that's one of the reasons that discouraged me even like asking people, because it was always like, I'm working on somebody's book, I'm working on somebody else, like I'm working on my book, or working on somebody else's book. But my man Mark, he was like, yeah, I'll do it. You know, like it took me like forever to find dude. Like, I remember trying to find a comic book artist in 2010 and all these other years. But like I said, Mark, he was like, I'll work on your book. And so I was like, okay, cool. Because he said he had other clients, but I'll work on it. So I was like, really? Because that was a shock right there. Because again, you ask somebody, they be like, nah, I got other clients, so I'm doing this. So it's like, wow. And then I was talking to him, I think yesterday, come to find out he had 6 clients. So I'm like, wow. Then he got his own like 3D project he was doing that he put on hold. And he might be Like another dude, he's doing another 3D project for somebody else, but I don't know if he was part of the like clients of the comic book or whatever. But regardless, and then he got a job. He going to school. He going to school to learn what I'm doing. So I'm just like, I was like concerned about him. You know what I'm saying? Like on some concern and shit. Like, you know, I hope he's all right. You know what I'm saying? Like, he got too much on his plate, basically. But he was like, he's cool and everything. So I'm like, you know, okay. But regardless of that, I mean, the dude was on some real shit. Damn. Like I said, the man was on some real shit. But like I said, every time you talk to these dudes, they always got some shit. Like, you're just lying all the time. But it's just like, it is what it is. I found dude, like, he's cool. So I'm just like, you know, that's basically what's up. But like, but see, kind of my thing is this though. Kind of my thing is like revenge. Cause that was when I was hooked up with that independent comic book company. That was like, the last time I seen those dudes was like 2012, 2013. And I'm just like, I'm gonna just get back on the scene when this comic book is done. I'm gonna just get back on the scene and just do some real shit. The only thing is that I'm not like a, and I find this to be like somewhat of a thing amongst artists. Like, usually artists are not sellers. You know, like it's hard for us to sell our own stuff. You know, we just usually sit in the background and just, you know, create. You know what I mean? Like, I'm kind of one of those like jack of all trade things, but just one thing I can't do is sell my own stuff to somebody. You know, they will have to already know about me for it to happen. But just off of some like from the jump, like, this is me type, you know, like, that's hard to do. You know what I mean? And that's why it was like, you know, and I'm already like somewhat like, for the most part, an introvert. And so to be like out there like that is hard to do. So that's like the next dude or the next whoever I need to find. And I made this video a while back trying to, because I was talking about this same thing, and I was like, you know what, it doesn't matter. Like, I didn't care about who was drawing the shit. As long as they were good, that's all that mattered. I didn't care about whatever they're like, whatever bag they was coming out of, really. Like, if they, I mean, obviously if they were like cool people, but at the same time, it just didn't matter. It was just like whoever, I ain't care. And just this dude, Mark, he came through on some real shit. But it's just like I said, I'm kind of, it just feels like I've been masterminding a lot since then, because I mean, a lot of stuff happened within that time from 2013 to now. Like, I believe it was like 2015, an ex-friend of mine gave me the writing program to start writing scripts. So I was like, oh, really? You know, he was telling me about like how to do it. Then he gave me like this writing, even though I didn't read a lot of it, but it was like The Hero of a Thousand Faces. But it was like I was already coming from the fact that since I got the novel, I already know how to write a character. It's just that I just didn't know how to, like, the format of a movie script is completely different. Like, I think because even when because he gave me like a whole bunch of movie scripts as like references, and so he had like The Matrix Reloaded as the movie script. And so I was reading it, and it got to the fight where it was like, Neo was fighting like all those Agent Smiths in the park, and as detailed as that was, it was just like Neo fights Agent Smith in the script. It was something. It was something so plain like that. And it was just like knowing that movie. It was like, that's it. Now in my novel, I'm talking about somebody got hit with a 20-hit combo. This dude, like I'm damn near choreographing the fight in the book. You know what I'm saying? But in like a movie script, it's just like one line. But that one line could like mean like a 3-minute fight or something like that. And you'd be like, really? You know, because it's the whole script economy thing. You got to have your script within, like at the time was like 100 and what was it, 120, or like a 2-hour movie's like 140. But that might have changed. You know what I'm saying? And then it was like I was like writing mad scripts, and then I was writing a lot of them in New Mexico. And then I got involved with this. It's just a whole bunch of stuff. So, like I said, I just feel like I'm just masterminding like My Great Return or something. You know what I mean? And like with dude, like I said, I'm not gonna say nothing about like the end goal with this comic book with me and Mark. But like I said, this dude is the dude. And then he said he's having fun working on my project, so that's good to hear. You know, like that's all well and good. But it's just like, just his contribution to this whole thing is just like, it's like you can't put a price on that. Because I've been just working on this ever since like 1999. Like this whole Black Dragon Upper 8 project started in August 1999. Some people that may come across this or whatever, they weren't even born then. You see what I'm saying? Or they were like infants or something. You know, like it's just been that long. So to have this dude, have Mark finally come around and say some real shit, that's what's up. But I'm like I said, I'm just kind of like on some revenge shit. And then he's like even learning this and then learning Unreal. Well, first it was Unreal. And then this. I think this is my first year anniversary even working on this. I mean, it'll be hard to find out because once you update something, the timestamp changes. Well, I guess I could find like I think I could find when I started, I guess. But anyway. But yeah, this dude Mark, he's on some real shit. Now I don't know the other type of projects he's working on. I seen some, like like I seen some of them, but I don't ask. And then he got clients all over the world. Like these 6, god damn, these 6 like clients are like all over the world. Like it's just too much. I ain't trying to put like his clients out there, but they just everywhere. And he said he liked the process of like working on it. So I'm like, or just drawing. Period. See, and then I don't have the patience to sit down and like draw anymore. Like if this was kind of like 05, if I was as good as I am now back in 05, then maybe. But it's been so long, it's just like I just don't have the patience to work on that. Like for me. So when Mark came around, I was like, cool. And then it's like an ongoing series. And that's what I've been kind of trying to tell people. It just wasn't just like, just like a few like books and then that was it. I mean, this is like an ongoing thing. Like with multiple series to this shit. So you was like always getting paid. And then it was like I never said, except for like my man Wesley, and I never, like I said, besides him, because I was like telling the price, he was like, "Oh, people gonna want like $1,000 a page or some shit." I'm like, dude, like I mean, if it's an ongoing thing, I mean, you'll get more money off of this than just somebody paying you $1,000 per page for like 1 or 2 books or whatever the case is. I mean, this is like long haul type shit. But most of the time, I never even said how much I was just saying I will pay. And then it was just like nobody ever like I said, not too many people answered the call. But if they did, it was just like, oh, I'm working on somebody else's thing. It was like, dude, then why you? Whatever, man. I mean, as of now, I think all this is connected, and all of it is like smooth enough for now. I mean, I'll probably gotta adjust some like right there. See, this is bunched up. Let me see if I delete it and try this again. I mean, that's all well and good. I mean, that's all well and good for now. So let me see. I mean, it does the exact same since I mirrored it. Like I said, I will have to straighten out some things. And then it was like, even my man was saying like the program he's using and it's funny, it's like this the same thing, but they use different terminology. Like somebody might have like parent, but then another one might be bind, then another one be weld, but it's like the same thing. And it's like even this dude named Ax NK, I think his name is, like he knows like all the programs. like, I would say the majority of the big ones. And it's like, damn, I couldn't do all that. Like, I'm just happy and stuck with the one I got. I'm not trying to say like I don't want to learn and grow, but it's just like I know enough. I know how to get around Unreal. This and that, just this too. But like I said, there's other ones though. And I think Axe NK, he knows like the other, especially the other two big ones. I'm like, bro, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, nah, I'm not doing all that. Unless it came across my table and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna actually learn it. But I'm not gonna go out of my way though to pick it up to learn it. I'm like, fuck that. I'm like, nah, I'm good. You know what I mean? I'm real good right now. Because even trying to learn this, even with this, even with this is kind of just like, like I love what I'm doing. I really do. But it's kind of like sometimes though, it's just like in a relationship, it's like you have good times with this person, you know, y'all laugh and joke and have a good time, but then sometimes you may get into a little argument or a little debate with the person. That's somewhat how this is. Because one thing I was working on, I think it was my vest. Oh dude, I was having a hard time. I was having a real hard time. And it was like, I'm like, you know what? It took me like weeks. Like I would say like 2 weeks to fix this or try to make it work. But I finally did it. I finally got it. But anyway, I did this. And now I'm out. I kind of need to find a new outro because saying money over Stinghouse. I said that enough times in the end of the video, so. But anyway, I'm just out.